We are now live, Ma.
So, good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Ma.
Lovely to see you. Good evening.
And good evening, and just not quite good night.
No,
Stay awake,
at least
listen
for the
through
next 45 minutes.
as we journey on this beautiful Sunday collective talking about life and death.
Wow, what a lovely topic.
I
for this
love
morning.
you, Ma, and I love this topic. And maybe I have a question that I think could be unexpected for most people, but I'm going to wait for everyone to join in, get relaxed in their seats, maybe have a sip of water, and really think about what life and death means to them. And just as they're doing this, I have a thought that as I was thinking about today's topic, Ma, and just doing all the technical things to get us live, I was thinking about something that you used to ask me when I was younger, and I've held that as a rooted anchor in any stressful situation in my life, where you used to just ask me that, Divya, is it life and death situation? And then I used to say no. And so then you used to say, okay, then let's chart a plan and let's get the things done.
And let's heal it.
And so I had a follow-up question. One, to deeply explore what should our plan be when things are not life and death and we're having a panic attack, a freak out, anxiety. And in an alternate situation when things are life and death, how do we train in our daily lives to be able to make the best decisions, the most healing decisions in those life and death moments? And of course, opening it up right at the beginning for everyone joining live to ask their questions on life and death.
So, the reality is that all the difficulties and obstacles that come up in our life are actually training us to become a little bit more grateful, a little bit more humble, a little bit more willing to heal. And I always connect to the analogy that river stones, as the water comes rushing down from the melting snows and washes and cascades and, moves them also sometimes, the reality is that the rocks and the stones in the riverbed all gently smoothen out their rough edges. So the basic understanding is that we are just like those rocks in the riverbed of life, and all the obstacles, the traumas, the difficulties, the hindrances, what we feel are anguish inducing are actually very softly and gently smoothing the rough edges of our personality and preparing us for the impermanence of this physical bodies. Because when we are born, there's only one inevitable end for every being that's born, and that is that we have to leave this body behind, because our mother in the womb had developed this child in her womb with the help of the 5 elements, the air, the water, the fire, the earth, and the space, to create this body, help us to create our beautiful faces, our eyes, our ears, nose, mouth, hands, feet, and in perfection, which was according to our karmic resonance, we have come out with the body that may be sometimes, a little bit special, a little bit hindered. But the reality is, the magnificence of this human life is that we are here impermanently and we are thinking we are here forever. And we are, creating a lot of dis-ease for ourselves by, like what Divya said, that is it a life and death situation. If it isn't, then you have to trust the energies of the universe, and you have to connect to the changing modalities of your human life, the changing people, the changing relationships. Everything is actually impermanent. If we look at a tree in nature, and I was just looking out of my window and I found some beautiful trees growing at the midnight galaxy, and I was just staring at them and they were staring back at me, and then they were saying that we are also not independent. We are also dependent. So what is the first dependence is of Mother Earth holding the tree very firmly, and the tree is thinking that I've grown my roots, I'm so powerful, and I'm bigger than Mother Earth. But the reality is that one gust of wind could help the tree to disconnect from the soil of Mother Earth, and that could be the end of their permanence, right? And so the changing weathers, the water, the air, the fire, the earth and space, because sunlight is very important for the kitchen of the plant where it's cooking its, food for nurturance in the leaf, right? So it's dependent on the moon's light, the sun's light, the air, the breeze, the water. When the rain is falling, the tree is quickly nurtured by that immense, presence of the water. But if there's a flood, the same tree can, the earth can be eroded and washed away, and all the roots come apart, and the tree is just waiting to disintegrate or go down the river and find a resting place on the shore of the river somewhere downstream. So the reality is that just like the tree, we are also impermanent. The tree is giving its fruits, it's giving flowers, the fragrance, sometimes even the medicinal aspect of the leaves, the stems, the bark, everything is useful. And as we look at that life and death situation, the tree right till the end is giving of itself, its fragrance, its beauty, its colorful flowers, the fruits, the managing of, nature and managing itself. It doesn't need somebody to come and bathe it every day, because the breeze, sometimes they have an air bath, sometimes the sunlight bath, sometimes it's raining, it's the water bath. And the tree is always breathing, giving us the oxygen, taking in the carbon dioxide. And we are so thankful for the greenery around our homes, in our cities, in our countries, and the flora and fauna of that environment is all codependent. But the reality is that everybody is impermanent. So, the measurement of time is one molecule of sunlight in the process of decay as it's touching the body of Mother Earth. So that is Anu. That's Vishwa ke har Anu mein Vishnu ka vaas hai na. So the reality is that every molecule is breathing and pulsating with life, but it also has a time frame. And how long it's going to survive? Is it going to be perished? Is it going to, look at the lies and the deception that we create in our life? We always think that we are here forever, and we have ownership, my house, my hand, my eyes, my nose.
Yes, ma'am.
I nose. We don't say I nose, I eyes, I mouth.
No.
We say my. We have ownership.
Ownership.
And we keep pretending that we are such great, effulgent beings, that we are managing this body, we are bathing it, we are brushing our teeth, and washing our hands so that no bacteria gets into our gut, and that we are not ill and unhealthy. So we have to really look at what is the spirit of our consciousness. And of course, at the end of this body, we will have, there is an afterlife, you will get another body, and the process of impermanence continues even in the other field, so that after maybe a few hundred years, you may come back as another being in this universe. And you could be a tree in your next life, or you could be anyone. So the choice has to be written according to our Akashic records, our book of karma, our detailed adventures of our daily nurturance of charity and well-being and care and compassion for other people. And depending on that, we will be reciprocating with the universe, and the universe is reciprocating with us.
Love you, Ma. There's such an outpouring of gratitude from everyone joining in, especially Vandana Andale, who sends her love and pranams. And she said that, Ma, I needed this. This past Wednesday, I lost my cousin in an accident and couldn't accept that she was just 47, Ma. Please send your healing for all of us. And she says, "Thank you, Ma. It's like you knew I needed this. I love you."
So sweet. And
Yeah.
to think of all the people in the war-torn zones
Yes.
who are also perishing.
Yes,
And we had, the Ahmedabad crash where so many innocent souls have left.
Yes, Mom.
But the reality is that it was their time to leave and to nurture themselves and to get to a better place.
Yes, Mom.
Don't think this is the best place. There are better places than this.
Yes, I always remember what you say, Ma, that this material life on planet Earth is like a transit zone. And it's like we're at the airport waiting for our final flight, or on a train railway station waiting for the train.
And we get onto the compartment where we have soul groups who are going to either love us or steal from us.
Nurture us or damage us.
Yeah. And, recently somebody said that I got onto the wrong train, and then, my bags were stolen and everything was lost, and I didn't know what to do, and I got off the train, and the station master was very helpful and got put them on the right train again. And they were actually experiencing freedom for the first time, that they didn't have to look out for their bags. And they said that the rest of the journey was quite exciting, and then they went shopping to buy new clothes. And so it depends on what you prepared in a previous lifetime and what you prepared in your yesterday that's unfolding in your today and will unfold in your tomorrow. So you have to be very careful with what you're doing with your time on planet Earth. That's why becoming a healer is so important, that you can not only heal yourself and nurture yourself, but you can also heal and nurture others, even at a distance. Just this morning we did a healing meditation for the welfare of the world that is surrounding us, and how we are interacting with that situation, that event, that, even if we are not physically present. I have someone in the office who had planned a beautiful trip to Georgia, and then, the airlines have just cancelled all flights. So they were very thankful that what if they had landed there and found no way to come back, and they would be part of the war.
Yes,
and then there are so many people who are coming. The government is bringing them back from the Iran and Israel, and
Absolutely.
So we have to be, wherever we are is the most perfect place for us to unfold our highest potential, and to heal and to support our loved ones, and be very, very succinctly attuned to what's happening. I also had a message this morning from someone whose father has had low sodium and has been hospitalized. And she had written to me a very sweet note about how they'd taken him to the hospital. And her last sentence was that, please, can you send healing that he doesn't suffer?
Oh.
So, even sometimes we are also very attached to a loved one, but everything is happening for a purpose, and the obstacles and hurdles are also part of the learning process. And we call it tapa, how would I say tapa?
A meditative penance.
Penance, yeah.
A meditative penance.
So even at the end of life, you have to release all the material energies for us to become spiritualized and to leave the body without attachment and go to the other world.
Yes,
so our mind has to be, the nature of our mind and our heart and our body and our spiritual side has to be synthesized and has to be engaged in devotional service and not tourism. Because I find that a lot of people are doing spiritual tourism, and they're going from place to place, guru to guru, temple to temple, from, being a Hindu, becoming a Buddhist, sometimes being a Buddhist and, becoming a Christian. So everybody is delving into their own karmic bag of good fortune to unfold the best life for themselves. And sometimes we are satisfied, and many times we are dissatisfied. So that dissatisfaction comes from too much expectation. And that too much expectation is that we can live forever. No, that's not a reality. The most interesting part is that none of us know when we're going to leave, exit. So we have to be prepared. Just like, if you are going for a summer holiday or a break, you pack your suitcase, your toothbrush, your cream, maybe even a medicine bag. I know that's become the most favorite item in people's packing. That they want to make sure that their medicine bag and whatever, in an emergency kit they'll need. But the reality is that we do so much preparation just to go from one town to the other, or one city to the other, or one country to the other. But when we are really looking at the impermanence of our human life, we are not really very succinctly doing the good actions that we need to in order to be able to facilitate our journey and our reaching the most spiritual destination in the shortest possible time.
So then how do we balance that understanding, Ma, or this veil that you're lifting for us to understand the impermanence of the material life, and yet to renunciate the attachments that we have of pain and suffering, but still do our karma and our dharma with enthusiasm and joy, whether it's cooking a meal, whether it's being with our family, whether it's, going out into the world and working and creating a career and money, knowing that it's illusion and maya, but at the same time participating with it. How do we get that balance of life and death in our day-to-day lives?
I can explain it very simply, that you go to somebody's house and there's a guard there.
Yes.
And he gets up and he opens the gate for you and welcomes you.
Yes.
And then very quickly sits down again. And his speech is not very clear.
Yes.
Right? So the guests that have arrived come into the house, and then they start, the friend that they're visiting, they start giving them education. And saying that this guard was very badly behaved, he was not clear in his speech, and
he just sat
down, and I don't know how you feel safe. Supposing they're saying having
so they are participating in killing his career, the death of his job.
Yeah.
Yes, Ma.
And then the owner of the house says, actually, he's a very good guard. He's just...
So yes, Ma, we're back. We got paused. Hanji.
So everything looks solid and stable, but the reality is that what is solid and what is stable is your own ego self. Is it, you're visiting someone and you're already preparing to criticize the environment, their abilities of nurturance, and doubt that they've employed somebody who's substandard, right? But they could be coming from a very compassionate place, that he served them so well and he's still fit enough, so they've maybe kept 2 guards instead of 1, but they're not letting him go.
Yes,
because they are very attached to the service that he's given them. So,
and he's been honest, and he's been hardworking, and he's been loyal.
Yeah,
and so I think this ties into the fact that we invite death into our relationships through our anger, judgment, which is actually misjudgment.
And sometimes not having the sufficient facts in making authoritative decisions about how this is not good, that is not good.
Yes.
And sack this one, sack that one. I don't know what it is about people. They're very judgmental, not compassionate. So everything in your life has the power to disappear. It could be your money, it could be your health, it could be your peace of mind, it could be your emotional state. So the reality is that to strengthen yourself, you must always watch your breath, and as you breathe in and out, definitely, connect to your spine, because the flexibility of the spine is actually telling you your own abilities to nurture good health. If those channels are open, then light is being distributed to every pore and cell, every crevice where there is insufficiency. And just the act of breathing will make you rejuvenated, recuperate, revitalize, and reintegrate with society. And then you will find perfection in every action. So, the person who's complaining about the God has come with the sense of
entitlement
or the false ego that they know better. So we have to be very careful how we judge the universe, because the universe is also waiting to judge us back.
That's really interesting. I'm
Yeah.
going to circle back on that, Ma. I'm taking a healing request from the Live Collective. We have Alexandra who says, Dear Ma, 23rd and 25th June, the 8th grade students are having the exams for their high school, requesting healing for their success in closing one chapter and starting a new one that is the
Yes.
best in their journey.
Perfect. I'm going to send healing to all the little
Yes, Ma.
souls who have prepared so well.
Yes, Ma. Absolutely. So, in this ending of one chapter and the beginning of a next, how do we deal with the anxiety of thinking that now this is done and we like never look at it again? You know, like, so it could be, I remember, I'm not sure if in Poland it's the same, but in a lot of schools and countries, like you will shift from middle school to high school and there'll be new students and new friends. So there could be like a death of those relationships and a new life that you haven't constructed yet. So how do we deal with any kind of death in our life, of a space, a person, a situation, and move to the next, still honoring the thing or the person that has gone, but also creating and charting a new life in the now?
See, the
If
thing
that makes
is,
sense.
Yeah, I'll explain it very simply.
Yes, ma'am.
That you come to school and you go to 12th grade and you pass your exams, and then you put all your books together and you want to give them away to, you know, a needy person who could maybe not have sufficient money to buy the books. So you're just gifting it forward, right? And you're saying never again. But cut to 20 years down the road, and you've got married and you have a child and who's now sitting for his 12th board exam. I know lots of parents who go back to the books and start studying in order to help their children to study well.
Oh gosh.
So they're revisiting that class 12 book.
Yes,
And sometimes you're wondering that, why is it so difficult? And then they say, oh, these books have been written again. No, it's the same knowledge. It's just been recapsulated to enact and enhance the abilities of the person who is learning and to nurture their own wisdom, their intelligence, the information that is being given to them, shared with them. But the parent is studying again, so nothing ever really goes away. You have the ability every day to cook something new. So you could keep repeating the same dal and rice, or you could keep changing the dals and every day making a new recipe and nurturing your body with all the enhanced flavors and different, temperings and different quality of, whether it's got more water or less water, the dry dal or it's to be eaten with rice or roti, chapati, everything is dependent on what you're doing in the moment. And life is about constant change. Everything is changing all the time.
Absolutely.
So we have to be very, very clever.
Yes. So in this moment of cleverness, how do we define clever?
And there was once somebody had checked into the hotel, the family hotel, right, and could not play.
Yes, ma'am.
And then they were not very good with their English. And I remember answering the phone. And then they said that, my English not good. But, cartoon Tom Jerry?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So then I said, yes. So he said, Jerry's in my room. So it was funny.
So he was clever. He used
An analogy.
So is clever also very closely related to creative?
Humor and creativity.
Humor and creativity.
And the people who laugh at their own jokes are supposed to be emotionally very strong inside.
Okay.
So
wow.
it's funny how people will do things.
Amazing, ma'am.
And how they'll network and how they will connect to the environment and how they'll be polite. And he wasn't screaming and shouting. He
was just gently informing. How
that
sweet.
Please do something.
How sweet.
Even if it means bringing Tom to catch the
Cat Jerry. That's really makes it so simple, Ma. I love how you make everything so simple. And then we have Nilima Data, who says that she is feeling so cocooned and she's
Love
undergoing
and
surgery on the
surgery,
24th, and she's
Just keep completely covered with the light, and
covered
she'll be
with the
well.
light. Yes,
In
Ma.
no time, she'll be singing and dancing.
Yes, Ma. And then we have, I'm just seeing so many loving comments. Then we have Sanjanadi, who says that the universe is waiting to judge us back, Ma. What you said, how beautifully you simplify things for us. And she shares that she's had her aha moment with this. And she's so grateful. And she sends her pranams and love.
Love you so much, beta.
And then we have another healing request from Neha, who says, Dear Ma, pranam at your holy lotus feet.
God bless.
Requesting healing for her relationship with her brother so he accepts her partner without prejudice or suspicion. She shares that she and her brother fought yesterday and they haven't spoken since.
Oh, we'll send healing. It'll be resolved because you both love each other so much.
Yes, Ma.
He's looking out for your, future.
Absolutely.
And he's a little bit insecure because maybe he's had experiences in life where he's not able to trust the simplicity of the love that somebody is bringing into their life. So we have to give it time.
Absolutely.
You have to be patient. You can't fight back because the minute you fight back, you're creating a new yagya in which you are putting more wood and you're putting more ghee and you're putting more samagri, and you're saying that why is the fire still burning? So if you don't want it to burn so bright, then you have to reduce all the negative, vibrations of hate and anguish and pain and despair that you're sending to the relationship. So you have to be loving, you have to be forgiving, and you have to know that reinvigorating and rejuvenating yourself is in your hand, and not giving the power of attorney to somebody else to control your inner condition or inner revelation. Sometimes silence and stillness is very, very important for us to harness the mind with the breath and watching the breath and recalibrating information from the universe around you. The tree could fall on a car and there could be somebody inside the car that needs to be rescued.
Yes.
And so you will say that was the car unfriendly, was the tree an enemy from a previous lifetime? What is this story? You visualize that there's a tree standing, you park your car under it, and you're just waiting to open the door, and you're just collecting your bag and the keys and everything, and the tree kisses the car. So there could be an embrace. The car could have a very rejuvenating romantic angle with the tree, right? But you're inside that tree and you are almost ready to be perished by the weight of that tree. And then people from all over will come and they'll help to rescue you, get you out of the car. So finally you have to see that that's a congregation of souls who are protecting you from your impermanence in that moment. Otherwise you could have just, been kissed by one branch of the tree and you could have gone to heaven.
Absolutely.
So we have to be very looking at every episode of our life is revealing a part of the jigsaw puzzle of our life. So we have to understand that balance is very important, silence is very important, and gratefulness is the most important energy that we have to harness. Because in that gratefulness, even at the point of death, you'll be so grateful that you're leaving the body and you're going to join up with the divine and go to heaven and enjoy yourself there.
Absolutely.
And of course, you leave some loved ones who will be pining for your presence, but the reality is that very soon they'll also join you. It's a question of maybe 40, 50 years, but in the spiritual time, it's just a few moments. Human time is sometimes very long, or looks like long if you are not having fun with your own abilities.
I always remember you sharing that, when Nani passed away, it had been almost 11 years or 10 years after Nanaji passed away, and that you saw that he had come and was waiting for her to take her
Yeah,
with him. So that's really mind-blowing and electric and very reassuring
Yeah.
that our tribes will still
Still be
connect
around
and still
they
be
will connect.
around.
Maybe not in the physical body,
But in the
spiritual
form.
Yeah.
And so we have a few healing requests, Ma, and questions. We have lovely Sumaya Di who sends her love.
Lots of love.
And she says, please send healing for Alex as he has moved to Bombay to start his new life journey.
Career.
How
Wonderful.
beautiful. Lots of blessings.
Little Alex is grown
I know
up.
he's grown up. And then we have Kat who says, thank you super much for the Sunday collectives, ma'am and Divya. So grateful. Then we have Rohit Mandal, who sends his love and pranams and says, ma'am, with your grace, life is beautiful. But I hope in time my daughter gets back, heals and reconnects with me. I have tried to reach out, seek forgiveness from my kids. May it happen, Ma?
Yes, we'll send healing that it should happen. Maybe it won't happen the way you're expecting it.
Yes.
Because there are consequences of our actions, which sometimes we feel that we are being slighted and punished for something. But it could be that you didn't do anything in this life. It could be a inherited tendency of behavior from a previous lifetime that you have to be separated. So death do us part, So sometimes people will die and sometimes they will be in the physical realm, but they will never meet you. Because their time frame of association with you is enough.
Limited.
Maybe what you've done has hurt them so immensely that they don't have the ability to forgive right now. But we will send healing and magic is known to happen.
And I think isn't it more important, Ma, in many ways to forgive ourselves?
Yeah.
Yes,
To
Ma.
forgive ourselves, our circumstances, and sometimes it's
Our choices.
choices. Sometimes, with greed, sometimes with insufficient emotional reciprocation from the family. We may move away. We may find another tribe of souls who are going to nurture us and give us validation for our existence.
And that we'll be able to pour all the love and the nurturance that we have within us into those relationships and those people and situations and places. And so, Ma, I had a very interesting conversation yesterday with a group of my friends, and we were talking about people and how they act and they hurt and they heal or they move away. And then one of my friends used a very sweet word, and she said that, that is unforgivable in the context of an act. And then another friend of mine, I think, saw my face and she was like, Divya doesn't like this word unforgivable, because I do, as your student and your daughter, feel that everything has to have a forgiveness journey. Otherwise, we're really hurting and damaging ourselves unnecessarily. So, Ma, could you unpack that why are there some things that are unforgivable even in the universal spiritual realm? And if yes, what are those? And what does a forgiveness journey look like? I know, very big questions.
A forgiveness journey looks like that you're filled with the light.
Yes,
and you're grateful to the divine for having given you this body, for you to spiritualize and activate your highest potential, or with wisdom, with knowledge, with enlightenment, and finally liberation even from this physical body. And to understand that forgiveness is a very important gratitude inspiring emotion, which, if utilized perfectly by everyone, there would be so much peace on earth.
Yes.
Because then there would be no hate, there would be no crime, there would be no rape, no, theft, taking away, even falling in love with someone else's wife and running away with them is theft.
Yes, Ma.
And sometimes people will just walk in and take away everything that belonged to you. And I remember once, very, very long ago, maybe 30 years ago, there was a couple who was fighting for divorce. And then the husband went on a business trip. And the wife cleared all the things from the apartment, the furniture, the utensils, even his perfume bottles in his clothes.
Oh, wow.
And left one little packet of sindoor and said, this is all that you ever gave me, so I'm returning it. And she checked out. And it took almost 3 years for the divorce to happen. But he never got any of the things back. So those things had no more association with him. So he had to let go and he had to forgive. Now he's of course happily married and living with his new family, quite wealthy and having all his new things in the house. But the reality is that she took all those memories, all that association, maybe even some pain and distrust. So every time she looked at something, that reminded her of the pain. So sometimes you have to make a clean break and you have to move ahead. And that can be the highest forgiveness.
Wow, beautiful.
To yourself.
Beautiful. And we have Ash who says, the swirls of love and grace emanating from your holy lotus feet, Ma, keeps us centered in this Mayic illusory journey.
Yeah.
And so, Ma, in the things of unforgivableness, so from my takeaway from the forgiveness journey is that everything is forgivable.
Yes, everything.
It might take us many lifetimes of tapa
and penance
and meditation and healing.
Activation and understanding that we are just here temporarily to give each other. You know, the physical body is designed more for pain and less for pleasure.
Oh.
Because remember I just said that even that they've checked Dad into the hospital and they're saying that he should not suffer.
He should not suffer. So there's a lot of fear attached to suffering because it is so painful.
In the human body it's very painful. Any kind of disease, mental, emotional, physical, financial, sexual, spiritual, everything is, you know, if the obstacles and hurdles didn't come, I don't think people would really think about the divine and think about, you know, what is the nurturance of human enterprise. You have to look at what it is that you're doing with yourself. Absolutely. And how are you harnessing your spiritual side. And yesterday I had somebody in my office who was saying that they're going for pilgrimage to different Shiva temples and different Hanumanji temples and all. And then I was asking them, are you chanting any mantras? They said, we don't know any mantras. But I found that the highest mantra in the aura was that I am so satisfied.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah. So that's a good mantra.
That is very good mantra.
So
how blessed are they?
Yes.
Yeah.
A little bit shocked.
I'm very impressed that they have this mantra or someone out there has this mantra.
Maybe they're not aware of it, but they are very
they are very satisfied with their life and their achievements and their pilgrimages
and their work and nurturing their family. So it's a whole cohesive interdependence, just like the tree, dependent on the sunlight, the moonlight, the weather, the storms, the fruits growing. And then, when a tree, the fruit is ripe, the tree actually lets go of the fruit.
Yeah.
Many times we had mangoes this season, and people had sent it and said that these have just left the body of the tree. They didn't even have to pluck them. They just found a bed of mangoes under the tree and they've packaged and sent it to their friends. So, sometimes you shake a tree and it gives lots and lots of fruit that's ready and ripe. And then sometimes people will pluck the not so ripe and put them into the thing that over time, by the time they get to the customer, it'll ripen. And sometimes you open the box and there are some rotten mangoes inside as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Because they perished.
Under the pressure of the other mangoes and they got very ripe. And the weather. Yeah. Yes, absolutely, Ma. And so we are so blessed that you are filling us with so much knowledge and guidance and ripening our soul to be completely awake and alert and compassionate and grateful.
And from your tree, you should let go of delusion. Illusion.
Don't be delulu.
Yeah. And to revitalize and recreate your harmonics so that you are in sync with happiness and joy and bliss and able to do things for others.
Yes, Ma. So I'll combine a couple of questions that have come in where everyone who's asking the question is resonating with, patterns of karmic consequences and life and death and our participation in both. It could be, supposing there is a elderly parent or a loved one who's hooked up to the ventilator, and then the doctors and the family members take a decision to switch off. Or it could be medical professionals who are assisting in abortions. It could be soldiers who are at the front lines killing one another. So in all these situations, there are all these really heavy questions,
Karmic.
but I think they're all related to the karmic patterns and karmic consequences of participating with this life and death.
I think we have to give up the act of
Judging, yes,
and we have to stop complaining about what's happening to other people. Look at your own life, and when you transform and you do some charity and you do some seva, then your record is going to be uploaded between 7:30 p.m. and midnight every day. The angels are uploading your it's like a AI, no? Artificial intelligence.
It's uploading your
karmic
account, your karmic account,
and plus and minus, and you're getting
not what we've thought about
expected,
but what you've
beyond
actually done.
expectation.
Yes, because whether it's the soldier on either side of the battlefield, they are both doing their dharma. Whether it's the medical professional, they're also doing their dharma. Whether it's the family and the medical professionals who are making choices are also doing their dharma based on the best information that anyone has.
We have a student of mine who took their mother to hospital, and she's an elderly person and she's not so well. And then the doctor in the ICU told them that, there's a lot of swine flu and a lot of COVID. So if you want your mother to live longer, you should take her back home.
Oh.
That we cannot offer that much of safety from the infectious diseases. And then, if she gets it, we'll have to isolate her. Then you may not be able to spend time with your mother. So they brought her home yesterday. So these are choices that we will make, and we have to make them with the sense of association and also of letting go of judgment. We could say that, the doctors are being so unkind, but maybe they feel that there's just a few days left and they should have their mother with them.
Yes, ma'am. So that we also have lots of love and healing requests coming in from Mamta, Bhavna, Priyanka, who are all grateful for being here. But I think this message of healing and not having judgment and being compassionate and forgiving is very important. And those are my key takeaways from today. And
to revitalize,
ma'am.
Reorient, renew yourself
Yes.
with your own abilities of meditation and healing, so
ma'am.
that there are no complaints.
Yes, ma'am.
So stop complaining is the message
Stop
of life and death. Nothing is about life and death. When you've exited death, then it doesn't really matter.
And if you are living, then live it well. Live it without giving yourself pain or others. And seek the pleasure of the healing light through compassion and forgiveness. That's what I'm taking away, Ma. And then we have Nilima Data and Arpita who are expressing their gratitude. And Nilima says that, Ma, since yesterday, I am having a feeling as if there's an energetic presence next to me. Is this your love that I'm feeling?
Big hugs.
Yes, Mom.
Of love and support. Love you all.
Love you all.
Stay healing. Stay well. See you next Sunday.
See you next Sunday, Ma.
Bye.
Grateful.